Hi everybody, hey, I got a great question. They said, Tim, oftentimes you tell people the worst thing you can do is actually grab the weapon. If it's a knife or it's a gun, sometimes grabbing the weapon itself is probably the most dangerous thing you can do. And what do you mean by that? So in this video, that's what I'm going to talk about. So when I talk about the fact that if you see somebody that's trying to attack you with a knife and I say don't grab the knife, that's not the threat. People the uninitiated just shake their head and they just say, "What, are you crazy? I don't want to get stabbed." I understand you don't want to get stabbed. I understand you don't want to get shot. I understand when the club's coming at you that you don't want to get hit. That makes a lot of sense. But maybe sharing a story will help you understand why that method can get you killed. One of my top stories that just grabbed me and really solidified the fact that going after the real weapon on a human being is the most important thing is a Wallmart incident that happened early 2000s. It happened in Ukiah, California. A sergeant in the police department there, Marcus Young, was responding to a shoplifter call from Walmart. Walmart had arrested a female shoplifter and they needed him to come by, pick her up, take her and process her. So Marcus was pulling into the Walmart shopping center, pulled up to the front. Walmart security guard was there. He handed off the young girl to go into the back of the police car. As Marcus is placing her back in the car, he looks over and he sees a guy coming. He had a little hoodie on, not a very big guy, but both his hands were in his pocket and he was walking very determinedly towards the police car. Now, let me give you a little background about Marcus. Marcus was a highly trained martial artist, had been training martial arts all his life. He was a defensive tactics instructor for the police force, former 82nd Airborne, and just a stellar cop. So this is a solid guy who had solid tactics, and he immediately recognized what was going on, that this just wasn't right. So he looked at the guy coming at him with the hoodie, and he pointed to him and he told him to show him your hands. Stop, show me your hands. Stop, show me your hands. This guy ignored the first two verbal warnings. Marcus then realized, the guy's getting way too close. Lets go of the female, puts her in the car, and goes to face the guy. As he goes to face the guy, he pulls out from his right hand, from one of his hands, he pulls out a knife and says, "I have a knife." Marcus immediately goes right in, his training triggers in. What does he do? He has a perfect, just double wrist crank that he does on this guy. He comes down, controls the knife, starts cranking the wrist, does it in such a way that he slams him back on top of the car. But as that's happening, out of the other pocket comes a 5-round revolver that he then empties into Marcus. 4 of the rounds hit him. Okay? Now, the Walmart security guard sees this, and he immediately jumps into action right away. He sits there and he grabs now the empty revolver that's in his hand, that's in the bad guy's hand. And the bad guy, what does he do? He lets it go. Because in his mangled other hand, literally, Marcus had separated the tendons in his hand, cracked and technically broke the guy's wrist, but he was still clinging on just barely to that knife. He takes it from his bad hand, puts it in his good hand, stabs the Walmart security guard twice, dropping him. Now, I'll fast forward in the story. It has a great, heroic ending. A young police volunteer was out that night with an Explorer Scout, was out with Marcus that night. He went to help Marcus, helped him get the gun up. As the bad guy was going into Marcus's car to get the AR rifle that was in there, Marcus was able to shoot and kill the bad guy. Okay, so that's a good story. Now, when this was written up, everybody wrote how heroic both Marcus, the Walmart security guard, and the police explorer all performed that night, and absolutely take nothing away from any of them. But the one thing that I noticed that nobody else was talking about was everybody was trained to go after the tool. Nobody was trained to take out the weapon. And that's the key. This guy is my avatar. Every time I train, I think of this guy, and a horrible individual. I won't even give the name or anything, doesn't deserve recognition that way. But as my training avatar, I always want to remember what is most important when you find yourself in a violent confrontation. Until you take out somebody's brain, their ability to think and move, nothing is safe at that point. When Marcus went and grabbed the wrist, broke the wrist, put him back on the car, was he safe? No, this guy, he just freshly out of prison. He was with the girl that was doing the shoplifting for him. And he was willing to sacrifice this limb, knowing full well that the officer was going to go for this and that he would get his chance to use the revolver on him. Whereas had Marcus gone and done something where a strike to, say, the side of the neck and, affected either a concussion or a vasovagal response where the guy faints and out, everything would have been great at that point. If somehow he had control of the brain, then the other tool wouldn't have mattered at that point. So again, there's a lot more about, the methods and principles behind this type of training. It's absolutely critical, but understanding that the real threat in any violent situation is the other guy's active human brain. That's what you need to focus on. Hey folks, listen, if you're enjoying the information that you're seeing here on the channel, please, number one, subscribe to the channel. That's huge. And then if you want more great information, we've got a lot of free information and just, great, ways for you to better protect yourself and your family. Go to surviveviolence.com, give me your email, and we'll get you that information right away.